As you can tell, I'm not wearing the normal Fantasy Sports Alliance hat this week. Reason being is I lost a bet after the Michigan-Ohio State game this week. And as you can see, I'm wearing an Ohio State hat. I promised the person that I lost the game to that I would wear it during the broadcast this week. So the show's going to be a little bit longer this week than it normally is. We've got a lot of FSA stuff that we're going to touch on, as well as NFL. And then we're going to open it up to Q&A at the end, something a little bit different as well. Ask any NFL or FSA questions that you might have. So let's get to it. Number one, if in case you didn't get to see it on Thanksgiving, the Green Bay Packers retired Brett Favre's number in Green Bay. Special part of the ceremony was Bart Starr, the very first quarterback of Green Bay during the Super Bowl era, was there. It was a long time in the making. He had had a couple of strokes and stuff like that. So to see him wheeled out onto a cart to be able to shake Brett's hand and give him a hug was pretty special. I'd be lying if I didn't say I shed a little bit of a tear. All right, number two, big news among tight ends after Week 12's games. Gronk could miss a couple of games now after the initial report said he was only going to miss a game. And Seattle's Jimmy Graham is being placed on the IR. Graham suffered a torn patella tendon and will need surgery. This is the same injury that Victor Cruz has, and he still hasn't made it back on the field all the way from last year, 2014. In quarterback news, Colts head coach Chuck Pagano has stated, Luck is still the starter in Indy, and even though the Colts haven't lost a game under Matt Hasselbeck. Peyton Manning should be getting his walking boot off sometime this week, but no word on when he'll be back in the lineup. After Denver beat the Patriots, though, you have to wonder if they really need him back anytime soon. And on that note, in case you didn't hear, the Patriots loss. That leaves just the Carolina Panthers as the only team left undefeated. Yeah, Jason, F you. So Brady, before the game against Denver, had tweeted an image that showed him on the back of the old 1970s Broncos logo. And then right after the game was over, somebody, it was either a Broncos fan or the Broncos themselves, tweeted a second image that showed Brady being bucked off that Bronco. If you get a chance to watch the YouTube or Facebook versions of this post-production, you'll get a chance to see those images. So after Carolina's defeat of Dallas on Thanksgiving, where Dez Bryant only caught 2 passes for 28 yards, it's on my nose, probably just my nose, where Dez only caught 2 passes for 28 yards, one of which went for 6 yards against cornerback Josh Norman. Josh Norman told the Cowboys they needed to give the $70 million back from Dez Bryant. More breaking news out of the Cowboys game, in case you didn't hear, Tony Romo is hurt again. We will definitely not see him on the field the rest of the season, even though the Cowboys are delaying actually putting him on the IR. The last I heard, Jerry Jones says they're still expecting him back sometime this year, so they're not going to put him on the IR. Monday Night Football didn't disappoint, although the two featured teams were anything but exciting. The Browns and the Ravens played in Cleveland. If you get a chance to go back and watch the replay of the end of the game, the field goal attempt by Cleveland, Baltimore was offsides, but the penalty wasn't called. If you get a chance to check the post-production of this show, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'll put a picture up. Cleveland would have naturally accepted the penalty, got 5 more yards closer to the field goal and attempted again. Outcome might have been very different. Staying with Cleveland, if you've read any of my emails that I've sent out or watched this show, you know I'm not a real big fan of Manziel. Now he's going so far as to say the video that's out there of him, everybody is claiming that he was partying on his bye week. Our old videos prior to him going through rehab, the drinking videos were not recent, but it's coming more and more to light. The people that were out with him that night say that was in fact the week that they were off. So in light of all of that, Manziel got moved down to 3rd on the quarterback depth chart, so Josh McCown got the start the other night. Josh McCown got injured during the game, so Austin Davis came in and finished up the game. McCown is now done for the season. Austin Davis is going to be the starter, and not only has things gotten that bad for Manziel, he's been moved down to third string at the quarterback because the Browns have now signed Terrell Pryor back to the roster. All right, so on to FSA news. This week we saw 3 more teams get dropped off from playoff contention: the Ginger Snaps, the TDs, and the Death Star Elites. And we only got 1 team that claimed a division championship this week, and that was the Carolina Nation and the Pac Southwest. This means we still have 5 playoff spots yet to be claimed, with 10 teams fighting for those spots. And there is only 1 week remaining on the regular season schedule. With the 1 week left, of the 10 teams that are still fighting for the 5 playoff spots, 8 of those teams, or 4 out of those 5 games, are playing head-to-head this week. The only one that's not going to be playing head-to-head will be the Crusaders versus the Muscles in the Great Lakes North Division. We'll get to that in a second. So now we're going to break down of the remaining teams that are left in the FSA that are vying for playoffs. So in the Mid-Atlantic North, we still have a battle for the division. We here now in the Bacchanalias both have an 8-4 record and have faced each other twice this season, with each team winning a game apiece. They will face off in the final game of the regular season to see who moves on to the playoffs and who will just be watching. We have a similar situation in the Mid-Atlantic South. The Thrillers currently have a 7-5 record, while the Pandas are a game back at 6-6. These 2 teams play this week and have split the head-to-head matchups earlier in the year. A win by the Pandas will give the 2 the same record, but the Pandas will have the better head-to-head record and will move on to the playoffs. A loss to the Pandas and the Thrillers will go home instead. And the just mentioned Great Lakes North Division, the Crusaders and the Muscle are playing this week, are playing but not head-to-head this week. The Crusaders have a 1-game lead over the Muscle. The Crusaders have only had 3 losses this year, all 3 of them to the Muscle. They do not face each other this week. However, a win by the Muscle and a loss by the Crusaders will send the Muscle to the playoffs. If the Crusaders win or both teams lose, the Crusaders will go instead. In the Southwest Division, the Coyotes and Pixie Boots will be siding their fates with the last game of the regular season versus each other. The Pixie Boots must win to advance. The Coyotes currently hold a 1-game lead, and the 2 have split their 2 previous meetings this season. Things get a little crazy in the Pac Southeast. The Machine currently have a 1-game lead over the Falconian Assault. The Machine and the Falconian Assault will play each other this week. A win by the Machine, and they are in the playoffs. The Falconian Assault already hold the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Machine. A win by them, and they are in. So that ends it this week. Hopefully the post-production will be out before tomorrow night, Thursday night football's game. So before we sound off here, we're going to open it up for any Q&A that anybody might have. Does anybody have any questions? All right, we're going to say silence is consensus, and that is it for this week's show. I hope you enjoyed.